All right. India versus WhatsApp.
Well, I'll give you the rundown on the India thing. So basically, there is a right to free speech effectively in the Indian constitution. But then India passed a law effectively. I'll just summarize it as traceability, which basically means that if you have an online network and you post something in the network, if an Indian censor or an Indian regulator or authority basically says, hey, hold on, this is an issue, they have the right to basically have the network or whoever owns that network trace it down to its originating source. Now, that's a really important distinction because there are certain products. So, for example, take WhatsApp, where a feature of that product is end-to-end encryption. Right. So it's hopping around in ways that are very difficult and near to impossible for anybody to really figure out. And now all of a sudden that element, which used to be a feature, is now a bug, because if the Indian government says, hey, hold on, that statement I have an issue with, I need you to figure out who said that, they'll essentially have to undo all their end-to-end encryption to figure it out. So then WhatsApp filed a court case in New Delhi this week, essentially, I think, asking for an injunction. And so I think this is going to go to a head. But you have this now state of affairs, which I think is really interesting, which is, so, we talk about how we have an issue with Chinese censors. Well, now here's a different, more complicated example, because this is the largest democracy in the world. And what they're effectively saying is we need to have an equivalent red button and a set of levers so that we can figure out what's going on when we choose. And there's going to be a lot of implications, because inside of India, what's different than America as a democracy is it has lower average incomes. It has lower health. It has lower literacy rates. It has more religious sort of tension. And it's got, many, many more young people who are more prone theoretically to get, bamboozled by misinformation and disinformation. And so, India sees those facts on the ground and probably wrote this law with those intentions in mind, right? And it's had a bunch of these issues, by the way, particularly between Muslims and Hindus. And so what do you do? What is Facebook and WhatsApp supposed to do? What is Google supposed to do? What does it mean for internet rights? I think it's a super, super complicated problem. And do you prioritize misinformation and disinformation above the right for people's privacy? And you're going to see it unfold in the largest democracy in the world over the next couple of months. I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest, except I do think that Indian government has a right to set the rules of their own country.